Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather. In this update, we're going to go over the latest details on this superstorm that is moving in. So let's take a look at the overall latest hazard index update, and we've got widespread blizzard warnings up here in the portions of South Dakota and Iowa, getting through Minnesota. There's also another blizzard warning off the lake here. We're expecting some very heavy lake effect snow up there in Michigan, but yes, numerous winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, and a lot of wind packing with this system. This wind is going to be intense, folks. Wind chill warnings and watches extend all the way, encompass the entire state of Texas, even into the coast, guys. This is a serious cold front. And up here in the Northeast, you get all kinds. You got flood watches happening with several inches of rainfall, and then you got the changeover with the flash freeze happening, then from ice to sleet, and then snow on the backside, and then all the heavier winds with the high wind warnings up here, over 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts expected as this front arrives. So let's take a look at the overall temperatures currently as of 7 a.m. this morning on Thursday, and these are all areas in purple that are in fact below zero. Places like in Casper, Wyoming, actually broken all-time, guys, all-time record low temperature for that station up there, minus 42 degrees this morning. This is a powerful cold front as this is coming down, encompassing all the way down into Mexico, and this will swing across into the east. Here's your current wind chill right now at 7 a.m. This is dangerous stuff. I mean, places in Wyoming again recorded 70 below wind chills. That's insane. That's some coldest temperatures a lot of you guys are probably experiencing in your lifetime as this is really swooping down. This is a huge chunk of feels like temperatures below zero. And in fact, that will actually even reach central Texas later on this afternoon and reaching all the way into the Ohio Valley just in the next day. So this is definitely a serious front. So if you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns on North America, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to reach 150,000 followers by the end of the year. So let's really delve into the details and take a look at the overall satellite picture this morning. We've got some snow flying into portions of Missouri through Iowa there. There's actually even some snow flying into portions of northeastern Oklahoma, and even some snow reported in portions of Wichita Falls. You can actually see the leading edge of that front, and it's diving southbound. There's your wind chill watches and warnings all the way down into the coast, into the southeast. There's your rain off the East Coast with this warm front. So we are expecting a couple inches of rain from this system through Virginia, through the Northeast, but it's a quick changeover with that flash freeze happening into portions, getting some ice, and then changing over to all snow right now into Pennsylvania. And there's your high wind warnings are going to already in effect. So let's break down the details over the next 48 hours. This is your winds. These are your estimated wind gusts as this front plunges southbound. Right now, it's draped across Oklahoma, getting into Texas there with those wind gusts of 40, 50 miles an hour. Wichita Falls reported a 54-mile-per-hour wind gust. But look at the graph here with all the areas in orange, all the areas in red. Orange is 40 to 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Red is over 60. And yes, definitely once you get up into the Northeast, there's going to be plenty of places having wind gusts over 70 miles an hour. We're talking probably power outages with this type stuff, as this winds will be whipping across the huge central and eastern 2/3 of the U.S. just in the next 48 hours. So let's really break this thing down for you and take a look at the radar, what it would kind of look like about 2 o'clock this afternoon on Thursday. The snow is going to be flying, moving out of Kansas by then, heading into northeastern portions of Oklahoma, getting as far south as portions of Arkansas there, has that changeover on the initial stages, and that's why the flash freeze is in effect with a rapid drop. We saw a 37-degree drop in Denver just within 1 hour, folks. We saw some of these drops in Wyoming of 26 degrees just in 3 minutes. This is an insane cold front, and it's going to hit you with a ton of bricks and rapidly falling temperatures on the backside, and then flash freeze out ahead of it, and then snow back behind it. So by the time we get into 2 o'clock this afternoon, moderate to heavy snow into portions of Missouri, getting into Illinois, through Chicago there into Wisconsin, with all the heavier snow breaking out ahead of it. There's a separate system that's, have a lot of separation here between the two systems. All rain with that warm front along the East Coast, changing over to a sleet, icy mix, and then changing over to all snow into Pennsylvania, heading into upstate New York through portions of upstate New York there, and then getting into 10 o'clock, that again, the Arctic surge continues to plunge southbound and east. So you have that flash freeze now entering into portions of Tennessee, into Kentucky, heavier snows on the backside, that low pressure now down to a 994 millibar low pressure as you get rapid deepening with that low. Heavier snow starts to break out into Michigan there, and then all rain along the East Coast. That's why we're calling for possibly a couple inches of rain ahead of this system. It's just going to be nasty up there into the Northeast as you get all facets with this storm. And then looking at the temperatures by 10 o'clock, these are actual temperatures, folks. And to be honest with you, the high resolution guidance has actually been about 5 degrees off than what the actual temperatures. This is model busting cold. We've been talking about this straight from Siberia, and you don't get that unless you got some Siberian air. And then even those short range 1 hour models can't even keep up with the intensity of this cold blast, as we're talking 11 degrees by 10 o'clock in Dallas. Some serious stuff as this moves across. You can see in the backside, we're switching down to -10 below in Illinois by then. While the heavier snow flies, it's 3 degrees in Indiana. So you can see the sharp temperature gradient with this cold front. And then as we wake up on Friday morning, that low is going to continue to deepen, now down to a 978 millibar, with the all rain continuing along the East Coast there, and changing over to that ice and sleet snow mix, and then all snow heading into the northern portions of North Maine. And then there's that flash freeze coming across Ohio, coming across Pennsylvania. This is just some nasty stuff. And then it's just all snow where that low really deepens up there in the Great Lakes. And then once it turns around here, the winds are going to be whipping from the northwest to the southeast. And that's where we're expecting 3-4 inch snowfall rates up, especially along the lakes there. They could be picking up 2 to 3 feet of snow with this system. And there's also another storm that's going to be impacting the northwest up here. So up here towards along the coast here into Seattle, could be looking at some icy conditions for them. But a lot of cold air continues to plunge southbound all the way into Texas, all the way down to the deep south. It's 10 degrees by the time you wake up tomorrow morning in Shreveport, 16 in Houston. We're talking 1 degrees in West Virginia by then. So you can see the Arctic air continue to plunge southbound as the negative temperatures just won't let up there into our central states, where they've been seeing brutal conditions already, and that cold just sticks around. So by the time we get into your Friday afternoon, that's still going to be the snow flying. The low now deepens to a 967, guys. It's still falling. It's still getting stronger as the snow really wraps around now, as the superstorm really develops by then up here into Wisconsin and to Michigan. They just get pummeled with very heavy snow, especially up in there into Canada there. Just all facets from this system as this will come across, and then very dry air on the backside. This is something that I've just hardly ever seen, with these dew points so low to encompass a good chunk of the country. All these areas in green here are below 0 dew points. That's extremely dry air. That's straight from Siberia, folks. That is the Arctic Express unloading into the lower 48. There's no other way to describe it. I mean, this is something very rare to see, with these dew points approaching -20 below 0. This is something probably a lot of you guys haven't maybe even seen in your lifetime, depending on how old you are. But this is definitely rare. It's definitely some rare stuff as you get all facets from this storm. And so by the time we get into Friday night, heading into your Christmas Eve morning, we're down to a 961. Let me just take you back. I mean, this is some really insane stuff that Mother Nature's given us. We got down to a 1070 Arctic high pressure up there in Montana. 1070. That's about as high pressure you'll ever see in the lower 48. 1070. So you're talking in a couple of days, the same low goes from an Arctic high, rapidly deepens down there north of the Great Lakes to a 961. That's 109 millibar drop in pressure just in a couple of days. This is an insane cold front and an insane stuff. This is something that is just definitely rare to see, that you'll be talking about for a long time to come with this system that just implodes across the U.S. with just this awe, and Mother Nature has just given us this week with this just rapid development and the coldest temperatures you've seen in decades in the month of December. So this is some definitely rare stuff encompassing the U.S. this week. And then, like I mentioned, flash freeze is going to be a huge concern. So as this system comes across, as it comes through Oklahoma, through portions of the Southeast, through the Tennessee Valley, it's going to lay down a glaze of ice out ahead of this cold front as the rapidly changing temperatures come across the mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast. That is just your freezing rain. And then you compound it with the sleet. On top of that, that lays down a blanket of sleet across this area as the cold front moves in, and then there's your snow. So here's the latest update from the high resolution guidance. This is over about a 48-hour time frame. There's the graph on the bottom corner of the screen there. All the areas in blue are your 1 to 3. The darker blues are your 3 to 6 inches. So once you get up into the purple areas, you're talking 6 to 10 through Indiana, through northern portions of Ohio, getting through northern portions of Pennsylvania. Once you get up into the red areas, that's over a foot. That's definitely over a foot. You get into the orange, you're talking 2 feet plus. 2 feet plus. So we've been talking about areas getting potentially 2 feet. It's going to be portions of Wisconsin, Michigan, and the northern Great Lakes. So they're going to get those 2 feet. And the closer you live to the coastline of those lakes, then that's when you'll get the enhanced snowfall and getting those 2-3 feet totals. All these purple areas, maybe 3 feet up there in Canada. That's just some serious heavy snow with this system, with this rapidly deepening low north of the Great Lakes there. There's your NAM model, which I think it does give a true depiction. Now this goes out 84 hours, but I think this particular model does have a great handle on this storm, and I think it gives you more realistic snowfall totals that are going to be displaying across this storm as it comes across the central U.S., dives down into the southeast, through the Tennessee Valley, through the Ohio Valley, getting up into the mid-Atlantic. Got the all rain along the coastline there, then all the sleet and icy mix there and into the northeast. All the high winds are going to be cranking 70, 80 miles an hour. Power outages are probably going to be a lot from this system across the metroplex, across the whole area of the country. And then just expect a lot of delays. I mean, you saw what's happening across the nation today, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I know it's a big travel week. We got Christmas coming up, and there's going to be delays by air and by car. Just expect delays. You got to be patient and be safe and stay warm. If you got to go out and venture out in this area, you saw the temperatures. This is some dangerous stuff so definitely bundle up, have your preparations ready in case of emergency. If something breaks down, you need to be ready for that situation. So by the time we get into Christmas, there's your cold blast we've been talking about on this channel for a while, from Siberia to Mexico by Christmas. And there's confirmation. Freezing temperatures in Mexico by Christmas morning, as those temperatures plunge all the way down into central Florida. How often can you say it was 30 degrees in Orlando on Christmas morning? So this encompasses a good part of the United States, all the way down into the East Coast here now, experiencing those freezing conditions, hard freeze. Rhode Island's 15 degrees there Christmas morning, encompasses all of the country. 90% of the country is going to be seeing a cold Christmas, freezing temperatures on Christmas morning. So here's the breakdown over the next 5 days. So we've got warmer conditions out west, right? We got warmer conditions out west just over the next 5 days. All the colder anomalies with this front that's basically east of the Rockies. That's bringing all the colder anomalies and that severe Arctic outbreak that's encompassing the lower 48 over the next 5 days. Beyond that, once we get past the 28th of the month, the west progression of this Arctic air is going to be trending further off to the east the deeper we get to New Year's Day. So the further you get to the New Year's Day, we're going to be seeing probably a warm up by then into their central US by give you an example, by Wednesday of next week. And this just continues to push off to the east the further you get into New Year's Day. As the cold air continues to plunge down into Florida, they're the last ones to get it, and they're the last ones to have it leave for that area. So, but between now and after Christmas on the 26th, we're still going to be in that cross-polar flow. You still got the colder air coming in, so we could have another system bringing some moderate, light to moderate snows into Iowa, into Illinois, into Indiana, through portions of Missouri, getting into Arkansas again as the west is warm. And then once we get into, say, Wednesday timeframe, the transition, all eyes start to turn out west again. As conditions warm, as we have another system coming in, we're going to be talking rain, heavier rains along the coast again. But now those rains get down to California as those warmer conditions continue to move west to east. And ironically, but yes, by the time we get into probably maybe the 30th time frame, again, as we continue to warm, we could be looking at possibly 70 degrees, maybe even a little higher down here. That increases the instability. The winds have turned around by then. This is Friday the 30th. Your Cape values are already looking a little high, so we even might be talking severe weather again by the time we get towards New Year. So believe it or not. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do follow me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. I'm updating on this massive severe Arctic outbreak, and catch me the next update where I protect you before and after the storm.